Well, to start off with, now it's barely been over a month that the Congress government came into existence here in Karnataka, but the controversies seem to be endless. In the latest, the state government is mulling withdrawing cases against the accused in the sensational August 2020 Bengaluru Riots case. Now here, we saw mobs torching a police station, burning down a sitting MLA's residence. 3 people were killed, 50 injured in the violence that took place. Multiple vehicles, of course, were burnt. All of this happened over an objectionable post, and more importantly, the State Home Minister, Dr. G. Parmeshwara, based on a letter written by Congress MLA Tanveer Sait, has now shot a letter saying that they should consider whatever has been mentioned by the MLA pertaining to withdrawal of cases against those people involved in these riots. Not just the Bengaluru riots, we are also here referring to the riots that happened in Hubli, also in Shimoga, and any other riots. Now, Tanveer Sait, the Congress MLA, of course, has written to the Home Minister demanding that many of the cases registered are against innocent students, innocent youngsters, and they have to be taken back. Now, this letter, of course, has been now sent to the Principal Secretary, and Home Minister G. Parmeshwara, of course, has directed officers to review these cases if necessary. And while we spoke to him as well earlier, he went on to say that this is just procedure that's being followed. And, you know, there is, of course, a lot of steps involved in this. And eventually, the government will take a decision on whether they need to withdraw cases. Now, this entire episode, of course, has riled up the opposition BJP, which is now alleging that it is only appeasement that's going on. We have a host of reactions on this issue. Let's listen in.
See, all this doesn't really matter. There is a system in the government to withdraw cases. There is a cabinet subcommittee under the chairmanship of the Home Minister, and they will decide. If somebody gives a representation that this case has to be withdrawn, we will not suo moto withdraw those cases. We will send it to the cabinet subcommittee and they will decide whether to withdraw or not. Then further it will go before the main cabinet, and then cabinet will take a decision either way. Then only the cases will be withdrawn. Once they give a letter to the Home Minister, I will in turn write to send it to the Secretary.
No, it is. That's what because they have taken support of all these elements in the elections, and now they have to repay them with all this kind of favors.
See, as of now, the mastermind has not been booked. Those already in the judicial custody, I am sure that more than 50% of them are innocents. I have only asked the government to re-look into this system, re-verify or re-investigate to ensure that no innocent is booked. I have even made such appeals before the previous government too. But I did not get any justice. But now, since we have a People's Pro government, I have made my attempts with the present government.
Well, my colleague Neha as well has been tracking all the developments on this. Neha, this is an interesting issue that has now been taken up by the Home Minister, of course, initiated by Mr. Tanveer Sait, who says he had done this before as well. But now he believes that the Congress can actually do justice.
Well, Deepak, that's right. You know, we've always seen how politics play out. You know, in fact, politics plays out when it comes to issues of dropping cases. Whether, you know, of course, be it against the PFI, accused over there that was done during the previous Siddaramaiah tenure, or now even the fact that there is, a request that's come in right now to drop cases against all of those accused. In fact, many of whom, the MLA over there, of course, goes on to claim are innocent. We're seeing that politics has played out again. While on one hand, you have the government over here going on to say that, of course, a thorough review would be done. It's not that cases are blindly being dropped against the accused of, the DJ Halli, KG Halli riots that have taken place in Bengaluru. On the other hand, you have BJP MLAs over here, not stopping short of saying that dropping cases against these accused of the riots would, tantamount to nothing less than the Congress supporting terror act. So it's, of course, one thing that's really quite sensitive here. Whether the government, of course, takes in this suggestion that's come in right now from Tanveer Sait, they're quite seriously. Whether they decide to drop the cases or not, well, that's going to be something that's really going to be quite crucial to watch out for. Having said that, Deepak, also, one thing that's quite imperative is that whatever the Congress government decides to do in the state of Karnataka, one thing, of course, that is, of course, lying ahead of them is the Lok Sabha elections as well next year. There's a huge plan, of course, on the cards. Strategy is being chalked out about how, they must ensure that they get more seats than, the previous times, and they outdo the opposition over here as far as the Lok Sabha seats are concerned. Is this going to be something that's going to turn into quite a big talking point for, of course, the opposition and the government? Well, that's something that we'll see play out in the coming days.
Right, Neha. In fact, while we, of course, open this up to our guests, Madhu and Rao from the BJP joining us, Dhruv Jatti from the Congress. We also have Mr. Shankar Bidari, the former DGP of Karnataka, who's also with us. So let me open this up with the top cop, retired top cop, Mr. Shankar Bidari. Mr. Bidari, if you could tell us, this is a very important case. I'm sure, though, of course, you had retired when this incident had happened, but, you are aware of such incidents that have transpired in the state in the past. We are looking at 3 years after, the Congress MLA demanding that, well, there are innocents who've been booked, cases should be withdrawn. How do you really read this?
Section 321 of the Criminal Procedure Code is included in the Criminal Procedure Code with the intention of preventing vexatious prosecution and to protect the innocents and to further the interests of justice. This provision has been used repeatedly by all the states and the union government during the period from 1950 to this day. Now, what has happened is, now a representation has been presented to our Home Minister, Mr. Dr. Parmeshwar, that certain cases of rioting, etc., at Hubli, Bengaluru, and Shimoga should be withdrawn as these cases have been charge-sheeted against the innocent people. Any civilized chief minister or home minister or any minister, what he should do whenever a presentation is petition is presented to him, he has rightly said that let the issue be examined and put up before the government. And he has sent it to the Home Secretary. Home Secretary will send it to the DGP. DGP will send it to the District SP. They will examine all the issues. Then they will submit a report. And then the DG will give his opinion. Home Secretary will give his opinion. Then the government or the subcommittee of the cabinet will consider and make appropriate recommendation to the cabinet. If the cabinet approves the withdrawal of any case, then it will give a direction to the public prosecutor or assistant public prosecutor to withdraw the case. Here the ruling of the Supreme Court and the import of the meaning of the section is very clear. The public prosecutor or the assistant public prosecutor has unfettered freedom to decide whether to withdraw or not. If after application of the mind, even if he also decides that this is a fit case for withdrawal, then he can move the court. There, the presiding officer of the court, that is the judge, will have to decide whether it is a fit case for withdrawal. If he is also satisfied, then he can permit the withdrawal. And so far as the individual cases are concerned, where an act is violated, which has been enacted in respect of a subject in the union list, or where a property belonging to a central government or the union government is damaged, the permission of the central government or the union government is must. They also must sanction the withdrawal. This is very, very important. Now the Supreme Court also has said that the victim, suppose a person is injured during the rioting, suppose a property of an individual person is damaged during the rioting, he also can appear and oppose the withdrawal of the case. This is not a new thing. Entire India is aware that in 2017, after the new government came to power in BJP, in Uttar Pradesh, 20,000. I repeat,
Right.
20,000
I understand what you're saying, Mr.
criminal
Bidari. You're basically
cases,
saying that this is something
including
that is not,
attempt to
and
murder
in many cases like this,
against the
governments,
chief
be it at the
minister,
state or the center,
were
have done
withdrawn
it.
by the UP government. So, to prevent this, the Supreme Court has ordered that any case against a public representative, before it is withdrawn, should be permitted by the High Court of the concerned state. This is the situation. Here,
But here we're not talking about a public representative, Mr. Bidari.
The process has just been started. Then what are you talking?
Well, but there's a lot of politics around it. Well, okay, let's address the politics around it, because the BJP says they have a major concern here because they smell appeasement. Let's bring in Mr. Rao. Mr. Rao, we heard Mr. Bidari say that this is protocol that's followed in multiple states. This is not something new, and it's just been initiated, and it's a long drawn process. So where does the politics here arise?
All political parties.
Mr. Bidari, I'll just come back. We are short of time. Let's include all of them in the debate.
Whether it is in Uttar Pradesh or it is in any state, they will act politically. But there is a safeguard. That court is there. Court has to give consent. That is the safeguard has been provided in the law and in many Supreme Court judgments. The courts are expected to follow the law of the land, the spirit of the law, and the Supreme Court judgments. Now, only the process has begun. Now, what is the point in making acquisition? Do you expect a minister to throw a petition presented by a public representative to him?
Mr. Bidari, let's have the BJP, say what they have been maintaining. They're saying they're smelling appeasement. Let's question them as to why, because you're saying this is followed, it's happened in Uttar Pradesh, it's happened at the central level as well, and this is only a process, long drawn process. Hold on, Mr. Bidari. Hold on. Let's have the others come in as well.
Deepak, good evening. It only reminds me
Good evening,
of
Mr. Rao. Go ahead.
Taliban government got elected in Afghanistan and they let out all the terrorists. I can only get reminded of that. Point one. Point two. Now the issue is only simple. Now these are all cases, DG Halli, KJ Halli and Shimoga cases. They are all booked under UAPA Act, Unlawful Activities Prevention Act. And these are all cases which have been transferred to NIA. Now, NIA has charge sheeted in DJ Halli, they have charge sheeted 109 persons. KJ Halli, 138 persons have been booked. What is he trying to say now, the Home Minister? I mean, Home Minister who's elected to the government is supposed to be in favor of India, or he should be anti-national. I really don't understand. Only on a letter which has been written by an MLA who earlier also had written a letter in 2011 or 13 perhaps for release of PFI activists. That person writes a letter now and seeks for withdrawal of the cases for those who are involved in heinous aspect of mob attack, lynching a Dalit house. And you expect the government to do such things? I mean, look at the tenor of the letter. The tenor of the letter says, I was really shocked and appalled by the Home Minister's comment. He is casually saying, we will see that. We will put before the cabinet subcommittee. Let me remind the Congress party of one thing. In 2012, Oman Chandy, when he was the chief minister of the Congress government, he had filed an affidavit before the Kerala High Court saying that the PFI activists were involved in certain activities which are anti-national. And the same Congress government in Karnataka in 2015 had the gumption to release them, 1,600 activists in 175 cases. And then we see what all happened with regard to anti-CAA riots and also with regard to the bomb blasts in Bengaluru and other places. Are we to undergo this again? What is the government trying to do? Is this a government which is anti-India or India?
Okay, let's bring in Dhruv. Dhruv Jatti as well. Dhruv Jatti as well has been waiting patiently, Mr. Rao. Let's hear from from the Congress spokesperson what their stand is on this entire issue, because Dhruv, you have a Congress MLA who's written a letter. Yes, the Home Minister is saying he's just following protocol, but What do you make of the BJP's charge?
See, Deepak, the BJP hasn't learned its lessons from the assembly election. Whether it's Udupi or this particular issue, they seem to be only getting back to the episodes of communal issues when the state is facing a red alert of the entire of Karnataka. They don't seem to be caring about issues at all. And even in the assembly, they seem to be protesting against the speaker instead of raising real issues. Now, coming back to what I was saying, is that the only reason why this riles up the Bharatiya Janata Party is because that Tanveer Sait is a Muslim MLA. And let me tell you that the BJP has learned no lesson simply because the letter of Tanveer Sait completes an entire circle. And this starts with the fact that law and order under Bharatiya Janata Party was not just fragile, Deepak, but was in fact broken and in shambles. And when I say this, let me remind you of an incident which I'm sure all of your viewers can remember. The incident where the ex-BJP party president Nalin Kumar Katil's car was heckled in Dakshin Kannada by right-wing activists. A party that cannot control its own people was, speaking about law and order. And I find this extremely hypocritical. Now, coming to the letter, which is written by Mr. Tanveer Sait, he's well within his bounds to, in fact, write a letter to the Home Minister, and he's done nothing wrong. What he's trying to speak is about a bunch of youth that were, suffered with
Deepak, I have
legal
to
aid,
make a
and
point.
that they have every right and take. In which way unconstitutional, and how the Home Minister himself said that me or the Chief Minister have no right in withdrawing the cases. This will be put forth to a subcommittee's bench, and that's what will happen. But the Bharatiya Janata Party seems to scramble with every communal issue that is put forth. And let me tell you that I can assure you one thing. That
Dhruv,
even
we
if there is
seem to be
BJP
facing a
that
little
writes
bit of a
letter to
network
the,
issue at your
to the
end.
Home
Now,
Minister,
the
Minister
biggest
will look into
concern
the
here
particular
is, Dhruv, while you, of course, I give you a moment to fix that.